got going on today, James?
It's new car day.
Oh, what do we get?
Man. We got our new project car. We got a G87 M2.
Shoo-wee.
So yeah, pretty sweet. We ordered it with the automatic transmission because that's what we love in these cars.
What?
Because it's faster.
It is.
What the f? And
amazing.
that's what the race cars have in them. And it's just faster. It works better. And I still love shifting. I know how to shift gears, but this thing's an auto because it's meant to go fast.
A little different than the autos from the E30, E36 days. This thing actually works well and performs on track. So
yeah. So new project car. The next in line after the GTMore. And what are we gonna do with this thing?
Well, I'll tell you, first thing we're gonna do, well, maybe not first thing, but this thing's a little bit high. I think that a little drop on this will be certainly an improvement. We got a few different suspension partners, so I think we know where we're gonna land on what we'll throw on this thing, but need some, maybe some wider wheels and tires, maybe some cosmetic upgrades. I don't know. I think this one is gonna be a little bit different project than the GTMore.
Yeah, the GTMore we got maybe 4 or 5 years into that car's life cycle. This one's a little bit newer, so we're probably not as aggressive. First of all, this S58 motor is just a banger out of the factory, so we're not gonna go into the motor. We're just gonna sit on the outside, make the power we can make, which is gonna be a lot. And you know, it's not gonna be extreme. I had to live with that GTMore over the span of one lap of America, and that was a long trip.
2 a.m. We're about 10 minutes from Eagles Canyon, and we are beat. I feel pretty terrible.
Evan drove the last hour and a half, and I can't see straight. This is rough.
Made longer by having a car that was so race focused. So this thing, everything we do here is performance focused. It's gonna be street, track, and we're gonna go along those lines. And we're going to use some good parts, and we're going to make this thing blazingly fast. First of all, we selected this car because it's fast out of the factory. We feel like this is the budget, not low dollar, but this is the cost-effective way to go really fast in a modern BMW.
For what this thing cost, it's a lot of car for the money. You know, pretty excited to see what just baseline showroom stock does on the track.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the wheelbase, it's not that little squatty short wheelbase car anymore. The wheelbase is appropriately long on this car. It's going to be fast on the track. We're still going to apply a lot of the GT4 from the new G-body cars. We're going to apply a lot of the thoughts from those parts, that engineering concept, the development process to this car. But we thought the shorter wheelbase, the more nimble car, the smaller, lighter package may be the one to go with. So we're looking forward to the journey. I'm looking forward to the journey. I'm sure.
Oh, I'm pumped to start this baby.
Yeah, this is kind of Phil's thing anyway, to some very large degree. Yeah. So,
well, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to take some more steps through it, get some more. What does this part do? How does it make improvements? What did it actually do on track? And get that feedback. And I'm looking forward to getting behind the wheel of this thing, and also just working on it and sharing the story and sharing the progress, and hopefully sharing some pretty cool parts we make along the way.
So yeah, if you have any comments, if there's things that you would like to see, directions or paths you'd like to consider, you know, part of these project cars is we do a lot of work and development and combinations of parts packages so that we get the car that you want or the majority of our customers would want. And that's not to say we're going to do it exactly the way you would, but we're going to come up with what we feel is the best approach, the most bang for the buck. That's not to say cheap, but how can we extract the most from this car without breaking the bank and without spending, you know, it's easy to just plow dollars into a car. It's easy to turn it into a race car. We're not going to do either one of those things. We're going to make this thing bang for the buck, a real track rocket, and something that you're going to love. So comment on it. If there's stuff you'd like to see, leave it below. Like, subscribe, follow along through this journey. It's going to be a fun one over the next year or two, and I'm looking forward to the result.
Yep, me too. So how do we spec this baby out, James?
Well, Phil, I'll tell you in a moment. So important things to us, that automatic transmission, shadow line, black trim because it looks cool, lighting package because why not, I like to see in the dark. M carbon roof. Of all the carbon package components, that M carbon roof is the one we wanted to reduce the weight up top. I didn't care so much about the carbon seats, probably going to get race seats in it anyway. So really this thing is a little bit of a stripper because it comes so well optioned from the factory. So carbon roof, black wheels, black trim, some blazing lights, ship it.
Clearly, we obviously chose white. I think white just looks good. White looks good for track cars. I think simple base, clean. We did black interior. This also just looks good. Did get the little blue stitching. This thing is looking right. Gotta have that carbon roof.
Big ass wheels. 20s. 20 in the front, 19
19
19
rear.
front, 20
I
rear.
mean, yeah, 19 front. With some fender gap that may need some addressing.
Yeah, but you know, that 19 front, 20 rear, that's kind of like the exact G80, G82 setup. So it's just a slightly smaller, lighter package.
Yeah, and for track use, I think we got some 19 squares in the works, so that'll be a good option to upgrade, get some wide wheels and tires, and have a square rotatable setup. It looks good. The old S58. Pretty spicy engine.
And already, just from moving it inside, it's nice and hot. So, we'll be thinking about how to keep this thing cool on track too, because that's a pretty critical bit. Some hood extraction. You know, again, some of the tricks that we peel off the M4, where those things just don't have heat issues. So that's a welcome change from the outgoing F body project, where we really had to do some magic to keep the heat in check.
Yeah, totally. You know, and these things, I'm sure we'll put it on the dyno. I forget what they're rated at the factory at the engine, like 450, 460 or something
Way
like that.
less than we see at the wheels.
But then, yeah, you put it on the dyno and it makes more than that at the wheels. So classic BMW of underrating these things from the factory.
Yeah. So first, some break-in miles.
Yeah. Step one, we need to get some miles on this before we can go abuse it and start tearing into it. So that will be a project for someone, poor soul, to drive this thing around for a bit and get it broken in.
Yeah, it's, you know, step one for us when we get a used car is always fill those fluids with the red line oil stuff. In this case, step one is keep the factory fill, put some break-in additive, because that does help break the engine in, and we'll be mindful of how we break this thing in. Low boost, try to, you know, the factory already turns down the boost, so you're not gonna test that ring seal before it is fully sealed. But the break-in additive, redline break-in additive, is going to help that, and we'll not drive it hard initially as well, to kind of make sure that we get that ring seal, because after it's broken in, we're going to be pounding on it, and we want everything working, broken in properly, so we can maximize what we get out of this thing.
Yeah, what's breaking? 1,200 miles?
I think so. It's 1,200, 1,000, something like that. And then you get that service that cranks up the boost. So that's when it gets really fun.
Yep. They leave these front grills, radiators, so exposed.
Yeah. I would protect those things early.
Yeah, the Zunsport grills are super nice. Yeah, so
yeah, no point in banging up the fins before we get those on that.
yeah, we'll want to get the Zunsport grills on there, get that protected.
Front license plate frame.
Huh, something tells me that will
Won't need that.
gone.
Ready to go?
Should be an awesome race weekend.
We are ready to kill it this year.
It's good.
It's going to be a wild ride.